This is Jeremiah Griffin with a presentation on video conferencing and its applications for music education. Video conferencing is simply connecting two computers together over the internet and connecting people that are separated by geography through the use of network computers. It's cheap and easy to use and allows us an opportunity to collaborate and communicate locally and globally. Now, Skype is one of our most popular video conferencing software applications, but we'll be looking at some others. There's a little bit of history here. It all began with the Nazis in 1936. NASA also used TV signals of VHS and VHF and UHF transmissions to communicate from space to Earth. A lot of research went on in the 60s, but the costs were still high. Beginning in the 1980s, costs and use of video conferencing began to become more in line with what we see today. Costs began to drop, and more applications were seen. As of today, Skype is available on your mobile device along with many other software applications. It's very easy to use and very inexpensive. It's part of our daily life in education and so much more. It seemed like something from science fiction. It seemed like something from science fiction just a few years ago. But now, it's not so crazy to think about. We use it in the classroom, in the boardroom, in the hospital room, in our music studios, and then also on the World Wide Web to create something like the virtual choir. Eric Whitaker's Virtual Choir version 4 collaborated that many singers using that many videos, almost 6,000 singers and 8,500 videos from all of these places across the globe, everywhere but Antarctica, and combined all of that data, all of those submissions through YouTube into one finished product through innovative editing and design. The impact is something extraordinary. This is an example of a video conference, and one that was held in Google Hangouts by Eric Whitaker and members of the virtual choir.
How do you figure out how to actually write for an instrument where you don't know how they're going to finger the actual chords and whatever?
Yes, strings especially, right? Who is this talking right now?
Patrick.
Oh, hey, Patrick. Yeah, so, you know, every time I write for strings, it's like I take out orchestration books, I look at other things that people have written, especially Bach. Nobody writes for strings like Bach does. You can also look at Bartok if you want the crazy stuff, but if you just want really good ergonomic writing and nice double and triple, quadruple stop writing, just follow Bach.
So they're communicating about a lot of technical musical information there, but you saw there were a couple of quick screenshots taken by one of the people in the Hangout. You saw that it was bouncing back and forth between Eric Whitaker, the composer, and one of the contributors named Patrick. And that goes on for quite a while. We're going to move forward here, though, and see an example of the finished product. Please note that in each of these windows, you'll see here, in each window, there is a face. That is the actual video submission, video and audio submission, made by all these different collaborators across the globe and edited together by Eric Whitaker and his team. And here is an excerpt. Faces is an individual video submission. These folks recorded their part of the music separately at their own home or studio and then submitted those through YouTube. We've seen several of the larger faces. Those are soloists. And then excerpt of the Virtual Choir 4. I highly suggest you check those out. There are 4 different iterations. That's one of the larger lots of information on the virtual choir website, including links to the other projects. Videos from the making of. You see there's lots of collaborations going on. Here's a sort of a screenshot of the work environment that they use to create those. And then I wanted to show you just a quick interactive map here to give you an idea of this global scale of this. It's massive. So many singers from America and Europe, but also from South America, a few in Africa and Asia. Most of the contributors did come from North America and Europe. But you can see that there is global scale, all except Greenland. Step up, Greenland. And just take a quick moment here to dive in, look at all those different folks. Exploded view. There are singers from Monticello, Arkansas, Fayetteville, Arkansas, in the virtual choir as well. And I want to take a moment to leave this quote up here from Ruth Bishkoff, a music educator. She sums up exactly not only why I believe that I believe I should be a music teacher, but how the impact of this sort of collaboration is going to change music collaboration for the better in the future. Several research projects I had to look at. One in Arctic Scandinavia, a very remote and geographically isolated area of the world. This is very rugged terrain here. Think icebergs, think mountains, think crevasses. And then the red dot here is the university, Luleå University of Technology. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. And then these other two dots represent two remote villages in which they were able to conduct guitar lessons via the internet and video conferencing. I've also got a 3-year pilot project for a choral program. As they began this, they found more challenges than they expected. The technology hasn't quite caught up to the needs of making choral music via the internet, but we're getting close, and they're working on it right now, using music specially composed for the project and employing support staff and high quality equipment to make it happen. And then hopefully we'll get some good findings from that soon. Nothing has been published on the choral project as of yet. My wife told me a story about her experience as a flute player at Mount Pleasant High School. There were only 6 people in the band, and that's obviously not enough to form a full band. They had to practice their parts as best they could individually during their class time, and then take a field trip, get in a bus, and drive to a place like Mount Home or Mount View where the school and the music program was a bit larger, and gather with other small schools to actually form a large enough band to have a real performance and a real rehearsal. And that's something that I think that we can improve upon with video conferencing for music education. Some of the best results have been from instrumental music education through video conferencing. Mario Ajero of Stephen F. Austin University down in Nacogdoches, Texas, wrote an article about these specially designed pianos called the disc clavier made by Yamaha that can be connected to each other via the internet, so that a teacher like Professor Ajero can demonstrate something on his piano, and his student, and wherever they may be, will see that demonstration. There's also a software program known as Internet MIDI that connects MIDI-capable instruments in the same manner. It has been used to deliver instruction from Minnesota all the way to Macha, Zambia in Africa. This teacher, Kristen Shoemaker, used both real-time lessons and asynchronous lessons, where she recorded a video for the students in Africa to watch when they were able to, and had good results from her students there. Here, this is a picture depicting the use of the Yamaha Disclavier piano that I just described on the previous slide. And this teacher, Lisa Yu, in Manhattan, is teaching a young student there in Nacogdoches, Texas. Also, I read a study about a graduate student who took piano lessons via Skype to finish her graduate program at the University of North Texas, and was also able to use Skype to join several other classes. So I put up my guiding questions here. This is sort of what I used to guide my thinking and the research that I chose to include in this project. And the answers that I come up with are that vocal music, as far as distance education and video conferencing, vocal music is still needing to be researched and experimented with. But there have been great successes in instrumental music, and the success of a project like Virtual Choir shows us that it can be done for choral music as well. Just that the technology may not be up to the standard it needs to be to make choral music happen in that sort of environment. But the connectivity, despite geography and the greater interaction using fewer resources and the ease of use, are all great advantages of video conferencing for music education. And our challenges will still remain the same as they are for anything with technology and education. Building infrastructure. Some of our professors and teachers, especially choir directors, might be reluctant to give things like this a try because the preconceived notion is that teaching singing via video conference is just not an effective environment for teaching. And then, of course, always cost and equipment and training. I mentioned several software applications that are available for video conferencing, and I would like to point out that this equipment is all present on one single laptop for me and for a lot of us. You've got a built-in camera. There is a built-in microphone, though. As you can see from my presentation, I'm using a USB mic for podcasting just because I happen to own one. And then the speakers and display are all present just on one laptop, and I'm just using my home Wi-Fi. Now here, just to demonstrate some of the features available through UVU. I've chosen UVU because they offer a few things like free HD video that Skype does not. Google Hangouts is also a very robust video conferencing platform that includes many of these same features like screen sharing, so that much like you're seeing my screen as I present this, you'll be able to share screens in a live video conference. Also sharing files in that same conference environment, watching YouTube videos together so that everybody's seeing the same thing at the same time. Recording the call, that's interesting. Much like that video conference was recorded by Eric Whitaker and his gang, we can also record our calls for record keeping and just to share discussions. So UVU is by far my favorite, and not just because it's got a funky name and an interesting graphic as its title. Here, just an example of what this might look like. The Izard County Viola and Haas Hall enrollments are taken from the 2013-14 school year. My idea is that teachers from these smaller schools and many others can use a video conference to collaborate, to choose their repertoire, to set procedures and standards for their performance, and then consolidate their forces, their players and singers, through these asynchronous recordings where they record individually, much like the virtual choir, and then work with a technician to combine those into one performance experience that can be shared with family and friends through YouTube or another website similar to that, like SchoolTube, and then excuse me, also just upgrade their performance experience. So as you can see, the technology has become much easier to use, cheaper. We're more comfortable with it. Video conferencing is basically everywhere now, and we need to learn how to use it